the chaos of National Signing Day is upon us, and while things seem a little settled here in Texas, there's always a chance it could get crazy. With Ryan Osborne, I'm Travis Bryant, DFWVarsity.com, and we're going to break down some of these classes of the Texas schools and where some of these players are going and how it's going to shake out next week on February 4th. First, let's start with TCU, the local school here. And what really sticks out to me about this class is that they have two linebackers, Alec Dunham and Mike Freeze, who have enrolled early, already signed their national letter of intent, and are in school and filling a position that they could see a lot of early starting time or early playing time in a position of little depth for TCU. They also, along with those two, the Deshaun Raymond, a four-star defensive back from Louisiana, joins that class. But really what TCU is crossing their fingers and holding out for is Dalen Mack out of Gladewater, the defensive tackle. Consensus five-star for most sites, four-star from a couple of the sites. Going to pick between TCU, it's looking like now TCU, Texas A&M, and Texas on National Signing Day. And so that would be a big get for any of those schools. But up until this point, he's listed TCU as his favorite. But as we know with these hat ceremony, signing day, selections, you never know what that actually means. So what would be the crown jewel of TCU's class would be nailing Dalen Mack on signing day. Yeah, and Mack would go along with J.F. Thomas, who I think is the best player in this class right now. Deshaun Raymond, a great defensive back, a tall guy, 6'1", 6'2". Patterson likes those tall, rangy defensive backs, but J.F. Thomas, 6'4", really came onto the scene late, and he is just now got a fourth-star in Rivals, so he's a guy that's sort of a late bloomer as far as people evaluating him. He is so good. He's up there with one of the best receivers in Texas. Very wide receiver heavy class, yeah, which fits this new offense that Meacham and Cumbie brought in, rotating a lot of wide receivers in and out after plays. But another school that Dalen Mack is interested in is UT. Yeah, Texas has a chance over the next week to have one of the best recruiting classes in the country, or they could kind of stay where they're at now in the 10 to 15 range nationally when you stack them up against other programs as far as how the recruiting class is going. The big ones now are Dalen Mack, DeMarcus Lodge, Kyler Murray, Chris Warren, and Soso Jamabo, the Plano West running back. Still have a shot at him. I don't think he's going to go there. I think that the play for Texas at running back is Chris Warren, who Washington of all schools is also involved. But Dalen Mack had a surprise official visit at Texas last week. He has kind of brought the Longhorns back into play, like you said, along with A&M and along with TCU, even though I think TCU is sort of the favorite right now. But the big battle that's going to happen over the next 5 or 6 days is going to be the battle for Kyler Murray, who took an unofficial visit with DeMarcus Lodge to Austin last week, had the tweet that got over 4,000 retweets, 5,000 favorites, just completely blew up the internet. And getting him would be absolutely huge for Charlie Strong, not only from the fact that he needs a quarterback because Zach Gentry, the tall Albuquerque quarterback who was committed to Texas for so long, then decommitted over the weekend to go to Michigan, they need the position, but also from a perception standpoint, being able to flip one of the best recruits in the state from Texas A&M, sort of get that foothold back in Texas. And they did, the first step in doing that was getting Malik Jefferson, which they got, a guy who was dead set on going to Texas A&M for a long time. Then they really flipped him in the last week before he announced his commitment. So you get Jefferson. If you're able to get Murray, that would make Texas fans very happy and give more momentum, at least offensively, for a team that sort of struggled on offense last year. Murray and Jamabo, two recruits, are having a little bit of fun with the system. Murray tweeting out the picture of the Texas jersey, and Jamabo tweeting out that he's deciding between ITT Tech and the University of Phoenix this week. So they're having a little fun at some of these fans' expenses. But another school that we mentioned in the race for Kyler Murray is Texas A&M. Yeah, and if you go on any Texas A&M fan message boards, you would think that this class was just awful. They're panicking.
But it is one of the best classes in the country. They are loaded with 4 stars and 5 stars. Christian Kirk, a 5-star receiver. But the big thing here is losing that foothold to Texas. I think a lot of their fans are concerned that maybe that momentum that they got in 2012 with the rise of Manziel and going 10-2 in the SEC, they're starting to lose that a little bit. They lost Jefferson to Texas, and now if they lost Murray, who is the crown jewel of their class, whether he's the best player in that class or not, which I think he probably is, he is the prize for any school, because it just says how dominant he was in high school. Now, depending on how that translates to the college level, we don't know. But if they are able to hold on to him and that would, I guess, be viewed as salvaging what they already have, even though they are loaded. James Lockhart, a defensive end out of Ennis, is another top recruit for them. Keeping Murray, and I think if Murray goes to A&M, I think Lodge will probably follow him. So that would be a two-for package of 2 of the best players in the state. That could happen over the next week. So
2 schools that are looking for a quarterback possibly to get some pretty early playing time. Well, we know that Baylor is a school that has a quarterback, and surprisingly enough, with all of the great quarterbacks they've had in the past couple of years, including a Heisman Trophy winner, Jarrett Stidham, who flipped over from Texas Tech, is the highest-rated quarterback that they've ever had coming into the school, and he is, like we said, the crown jewel of that class. And Seth Russell did have plenty of opportunity to play, but he could be battling Seth Russell for that starting job coming right onto campus, as he's already enrolled early and will get to participate in spring practices and all that. But what it really comes down to with Baylor, they have 17 commits coming into signing day. They're looking at defensive backs. They have probably about 2 more spots that they need to fill, and they're looking at maybe a dark horse in Holton Hill, but if that doesn't pan out, they have Henry Black and Darrell Patterson from your hometown, who they're looking at to fill 2 of those spots at defensive back, which is really that key position that they're trying to capitalize on. Yeah, and when you look at Stidham, going back to what you were saying, it's kind of funny. Art Briles was at Stephenville 20-something years ago, established that quarterback machine, and then at the end of the, down the road after he's at the college level, you have the best quarterback to ever come through Stephenville probably, and now he's going to play for Art Briles. But he was committed to Texas Tech for a long time, then he flipped just really days before the end of his final semester in high school. He's already enrolled at Baylor, and that really was a tough blow for Texas Tech, because he was their best recruit, and then a few weeks after that they lose Carlos Strickland, a receiver who was committed to Tech, who opened up his commitment, who's actually going to be announcing tonight, Tuesday night. And Texas Tech still has a chance, but there's also the chance UCLA can land him too. So getting Strickland back in the fold would be huge for Texas Tech. But other than that, they have Braden Fehoko. I believe that's how you say his last name. He's from Hawaii. He's their best recruit right now, a big defensive tackle, a 4-star. So that's kind of where Tech is right now. They still have a chance at a couple other guys. Well, that's how things are shaking down as we approach National Signing Day. But as we know, with 17 and 18-year-old boys, things can change on a whim. So stay tuned to DFWVarsity.com as we approach signing day and on signing day for all the best coverage of National Signing Day.